Welcome to Talking Trail, your podcast on everything Blue Mountains trail running, brought to you by Summit Gear. Welcome, Rob.
Hey, Rob, how are you going?
Winter is here.
It sure is. It sure is. I'm running with thermals on long thermals, getting the beanie out, getting the gloves out every morning.
I got an invite to a Kadumba run the other day, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'm up for it. And then they told me it was at 5 a.m. or 5:30 in the morning. And boy, was it cold. I get in the car, it's 1 degree, and lucky it wasn't too windy, but it's certainly, yeah, the gloves are on. I didn't wear like thermal pants or anything, but yeah.
No, I'm still in shorts too. I'm the same, but this morning, even down lower mountains, the ice alert on my car went off, which means it's 3 degrees or lower. So I think that was the first time midweek that I've driven off with that.
It seems to be after UTA that the weather, like around that time, is when it really starts to turn, and certainly feels like winter's here.
Yep, makes it hard to get out of bed, but obviously we need to keep doing it. We need to work on that mental toughness and that discipline.
I definitely had the thought that after the early start I had the other day was once I was running, it was just beautiful. Mm-hmm. And you just got to keep remembering that it's it's hard to get out of bed, it's hard to get going, but once you're out there and doing it, it's fantastic. Speaking about UTA, so we've had our first episode went out.
We did, and thank you to everyone who gave us feedback. We've had some terrific responses to part one of our UTA recap with featuring Anne Mackey and Rhett Gibson. So, got a lot of great feedback on that. So keep the feedback coming. I actually want to implore you, if you are enjoying what we're doing, if you are enjoying the interviews that we're having and recording and putting out there, then and the information you're getting, we also got a lot of feedback post UTA on our UTA tips and tricks episode. So we had some people telling us that they got a PB as a result of taking on some of those tips. So that was great, made us feel really good. But yeah, if you are enjoying what we're doing, please share, like, subscribe, follow.
Leave us a comment.
Leave us comments. Yeah, absolutely.
We love feedback.
Yeah. So keep it coming. We love getting it direct, but also if you can put it out there in the metaverse, that'll be great.
So part one went so well, we thought we'd jump straight into part two. And for that, again, we've got two great interviews.
We do. Emily Brunt, who got on the podium for the UTA 100-kilometre race. And we've also got another local, Tom Payton, who did the 100-miler.
Yeah, and it's great. Again, it's a classic story. So we've got someone that was at the very pointy end of the UTA race in Emily, but Tom has a great story as well. So someone that I guess has come to trail running via his climbing and his mountaineering exploits. But yeah, certainly this was his first miler, and it's a great story about how he went about it and how the day panned out.
Yeah, he's just recently moved over to the dark side and loving it. So he's planning to do some more, but you'll hear all about that during this interview.
So here's our interview. We'll start off with Tom Payton. Well, our next guest is Tom Payton. Tom's a regular customer at Summit Gear, and someone that I've certainly been following his running career over the last little while, and certainly has been starting to perform better and better with each race. So, Tom, welcome to Talking Trail.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Tom, I guess what we're really interested in this discussion is how the UTA went for you. I guess before we get into that, just give us a quick background of your trail running sort of career, so to speak. And when did you start? What sort of races have you done? And then I guess give us a bit of insight into your decision to do your first miler at the UTA.
Yeah, well, my running journey probably started 3 or 4 years ago, I guess now. I sort of had a mate doing one of the events down in Cozzy. It wasn't the normal Cozzy event that's on at the moment, but another one. It was a 70 kilometres event down there. And he sort of signed up, and then I asked him what's like the distance he was doing. And he said 70. And I thought, yeah, I'll just do that. And I had no idea how much it was going to hurt at the time. And managed to get it done, which was good. And then ever since then, just been doing event by event, and it's been great.
Yeah, okay. I guess so. This is your first miler. Tell us about your training and your preparation for it.
Well, I actually only signed up for the milo probably 3 or 4 weeks prior to the event, so that was probably a bit too close. Yeah, it was. I've been obviously running a few events recently. Went down and did Ridgy Didge. I did Solitary Ultra recently, so I think those bigger events helped me prepare for this. And obviously, living in the Blueies, being able to get on course easily and try train on some of the steeper sections of the track was super beneficial. And um, I definitely don't think I had enough training leading into it, and it started hurting pretty early on during the day. I thought I'd probably be able to keep the pain away for till about 70, 80 kilometers, but yeah, from about 50 kilometers, I was hurting pretty bad. But I definitely think the training could have been better, but I sort of like the idea of going out and suffering, and I got that definitely.
Sounds like you are very good at dealing with a tough mindset and just enduring. So definitely testament to being able to finish the race with 27 hours and you were feeling crap, what you said, from 50 Ks.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny because I've heard so much about how these longer events comes in waves, and you always come back from hurting. And I definitely found that on the day. Like, I thought I was probably going to be hurting later on, and from about as soon as I sort of got on narrow neck, I started really slowing down and hurting quite a lot. But yeah, it sort of came back once I got to the top of Nelly's, and sort of back and forth in waves from there. So yeah, it was definitely interesting.
So Tom, in some of those previous races, the recent races that you'd mentioned, you'd had pretty good results, being right up there in terms of top 10 and better.
Won at Ridgy Didge.
And you won Ridgy Didge.
Yeah, no, Ridgy Didge was another one. I probably left a bit late to sign up. I signed up the night before. And yeah, went down and had a great day. That was definitely talk about finding flow state running. Like, I definitely found it on that event, and I never run in that area before, in that Lithgow area. And it was great trails down there, and such a great event by Tony. So yeah, super keen to get back to that one next year. But yeah, it was definitely not expecting to win the event, and it was super fun to run just at full capacity all day. So yeah, I was psyched on that one.
Mm. So did you think, going into the Mylar, saying, "Oh, look, I'm a pretty good runner," as it turns out? Did you go in really with a competitive mindset to try and see if you could get top 10 or better?
Yeah, I think definitely after Ridgy Didge and Solitary, I went in with a big head. I can definitely say that. I thought having run those events, like being able to move quite quickly in both of those events all day, I'd be able to, slowing down in the mile, I thought I'd be able to last a lot longer until I sort of really started hurting. And as it turns out, around the same time at that 50-kilometer mark, it just all sort of turned. And yeah, I slowed right down. But no, I definitely thought at one point I'd have a good crack at trying to get around the top 10, and that quickly turned around on me. So yeah.
So did you have a race time in mind, or you were just going to see how the day unfolded?
Yeah, it's funny. The day seemed a lot slower than I thought it was going to go, but I sort of did sit down beforehand and sort of just work out when I thought I'd come into different aid stations and whatnot, just to let like my support know when I had a rough idea of when I'd be coming in. And I pretty well kept to that most of the day. And I sort of came up with 26 to 28 hours it would take me. And coming in, just under 28 hours. So I was pretty well within that.
You nailed it.
Yeah, it's a very strong time. Like, that's a tough course. Like, 7,500 meters of elevation or something. Like, that's a tough course for sub 30. I think that's a great result. And so you started to struggle. You say you started to feel the pain at 50 odd Ks. What did you do at that point?
I think I just really tried to focus on nutrition at that point. I'm definitely not the best at nutrition, but I sort of was trying to get 2 to 3 gels in an hour. And every time I just came into an aid station, I was trying to get as much food down as possible. that's sort of how my nutrition plan looked for the day. It was just get as much food in as possible. And yeah, I like I said, it definitely came in waves. I started feeling pretty sore by the end of Narrowneck, but yeah, it definitely came back, and then had lots of ups and downs throughout the day, which was it was fun to play that game.
And how'd you find running through the night? Was there any certain spots where it got pretty dark in your head?
Well, I actually picked up my first pacer at 6 foot, the inbound checkpoint. So yeah, that was such a boost, and I thought it would be. I thought picking up a pacer coming into the night would be really beneficial, and it was such a boost. Like, it just completely turned your mindset around, and having someone to talk to and someone to run with. Having run the 100K the year before, it was definitely super different in terms of it was just so spread. You just, in the 100K, I felt like I was running with people all day. There's always people around, whereas on the miler course, sort of after Hydro Majestic, it was just super spread out. Completely by yourself for quite long sections of the track. So
nice. And then what was it like to finish? Actually saw some footage of you finish. You had a pacer there, and you looked happy crossing.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was super good. It's funny actually, because coming up that last section through Kadumba, I was just completely cooked, and I was just holding out to get back up to the top, and I just kept telling myself, I just got to get back up to the car, get up, and I'll just fall asleep in the car. And as soon as I crossed the line, I was just completely fine. Like, it's funny what your mind does. Like, I came across the line, and we just went to a cafe afterwards and went and had lunch. And it's another thing, I couldn't eat for the whole back end of the race. And as soon as I finished, I was just hungry. It's funny what your mind does.
Maybe there's a mental mind game you can do with yourself there for future races.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Did you have a really good burger or a snitty or something at the cafe?
I went down to the Katoomba Falls kiosk and ate 2 pies.
Yeah, 2 pies. Okay.
All right, so it's been a week and a half now since the Milo finished.
Yep.
How are you feeling now?
Yeah, it's funny. I thought I got away with it. The next day was completely fine, and probably the following 2 or 3 days, no real aches or pains, just a bit sore. But it all sort of hit me a bit late, and started limping around at work probably 3 or 4 days later. And it took me a few days to come good, but definitely good now.
And you reckon has it quench your thirst for doing milers, or is it just sort of just whet the appetite?
Definitely whet the appetite. It's one of those things when I was out there sort of around the 100K mark, I was like, why have I done this? Why have I done this to myself? Like, this is so stupid. And then the last stretch with my pacer, where they're talking about Moab 240 and talking about running the Lamp Trail and stuff like that, and you're like, it's just so funny how it works. And definitely keen. And as soon as you finish, you're just like, oh, the suffering was worth it. It was so good, such a good day, especially running so many of those trails all the time, and just being able to combine all of the best trails in the Blueies in just one long run. It was super epic.
All right, so do you have a race that you're planning to do before the end of the year?
I've got the delayed 6 foot coming up. So I've got that in September, I think it is. And then the Pilliga. I ran the Pilliga Grand Slam last year, and absolutely loved that event. Loved just such a nice grassroots event, and super beautiful spot. So I think we're going to try and get a big group to head back out there this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome. Well, congratulations on completing your first miler in such a great time. And look forward to seeing how the rest of the year unfolds for you, because you've certainly had a great start to the year.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And I think just, the ability to spend some real quality time in comfortable shoes rather than climbing shoes. It's a different world, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It certainly is. And I tell you what, you can't get your feet back in climbing shoes after running the miler for a while. So everything's on pause for a minute.
It's becoming more prevalent, and we're certainly seeing it through the store and some of our colleagues, that are climbers, that there's climbers sort of moving into trail running and ultra running. Not just yourself, but I suppose internationally, Alex Honnold's been quite public about the running that he's taking on now. Do you think that there's, besides, I suppose, the mental strength to say, look, I suppose with climbing, you can't sort of give up. You've got to get to the top. Besides that, though, and I want to hear your view on that, certainly in terms of having that mental fortitude to finish a miler when it's hurting. But is there any other, I suppose, carryover strengths from the climbing that you've been doing all these years into the trail and ultra running?
Yeah, for sure. I think the type of climbing I prefer is more like adventure climbing, like long days out rather than just like hard sports climbing. And especially a bit of mountaineering as well. Like I went over last year and climbed Mount Cook and Mount Aspiring. And they're just long days out. So I think that relates. Like we were on Mount Cook for, I think, 28 hours and, the miler took me about 28 hours. So I think that mindset of just being able to be out for a long time, it definitely relates. And it's all about, to me, it's all about being able to move well in the mountains. So
good stuff.
Yeah,
definitely some good base training in mountaineering.
For sure.
On feet, you're out there for long times. Yeah.
Hiking big hills.
Yeah, so you'll be doing lots of milers. Cool.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's just being able to move well in the mountains, which is what I really appreciate about trail running, especially up in the Blueies. It's just being able to move up and down some steep terrain relatively quickly, and that relates really well to climbing and so forth. So,
well, Tom, congratulations again. Awesome effort. I was following you throughout your race until I started mine, and and well done. So thanks for coming on and telling us your story.
No, thank you, and congratulations to you guys too.
Thanks. All right. Welcome to Talking Trail, Emily Brunt. It's a real pleasure to have you here. You're an amazing Blue Mountains runner as well as world runner, so it's really exciting that you live locally. And you just had a very good performance at the UTA 2025 100K. So huge congrats.
Thanks, thanks for having me here.
You made the podium. Woohoo!
Very impressive.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm sitting here with trail running royalty. Podium series all around.
Pleasure to have you.
Yes, that's very, very
we'll
true.
Just sit here in the background.
Where I'm normally sitting.
Yeah, that's right.
But also, I think because with this year's event being, like what do we call it, World Major or whatever, that there was a lot more international competitors. So getting to the podium wasn't maybe as easy as a local race that you'd normally might achieve. So even more impressive to do that.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal. Still processing it all.
Yeah, oh good. Well, before we get into the race, maybe a bit of pre-race preparations. You've won the 100K, was it in 2023?
Yeah.
And in 2024 you also ran it with a fourth. So you have done it a few times and then you've built back up to the third. You've done a bit of 6 foot. You've also done a UTMB DNF, but you're going back this year for more revenge and redemption. So, but now for this 100K race, please tell us a bit about your training plan for it. Anything different to the other times you've done it?
I think the focus for me since Cozumel last year is UTMB. So everything that I've done between now and UTMB, that's like the A race. So I think it took a lot of pressure off, like UTA itself. But yeah, one of the really big things I did was improve my downhill running. because I know with UTMB it's not just 10,000 metres uphill, it's 10,000 metres downhill. So that's been a really big goal, and I think one of the things when I was running the race, I actually was feeling comfortable running downhill, which has been like a big achievement for me. So that would be probably like my year.
So how do you adapt training to do that?
I would have a few sessions where I would just target the downhill, like just run it as hard and uncomfortably as I could, and then just suffer for the rest of the run. So my little tester was starting at QBH down in the tail end road there and running to Darrison Creek. So that's an 8K downhill. So at the start of January, I ran it, probably did like 34, 35 minutes. And then I completed the loop to sort of come like back up through the forest and the stairs and, sort of got back to the car feeling a bit crippled. And then about a month later, I did the same run. So just went out as hard as I could and took about 2 minutes off the time. So that was like a really good little tester on how my downhill running had improved. And I think just doing like when you're training through the week, just adding it in a little bit in your sessions. Like, we live at down the base of the mountain in Penrith, so, there's some hills around like Leonay and, we come up to Glenbrook and stuff. So just sort of, taking advantage of those little ones and then just running easy for your other runs to let all that adaptation soak in.
So we're going like Mount Portal, sort of getting that third, or somewhere else in Glenbrook?
We go like what do we call it, the like Sanctuary Drive. That sort of bit, like on the road, road around there. Glenbrook sometimes would run like from Penrith up to the that Wednesday shop run. And then there's some little sort of just runs within those little hills within those local runs there.
Yeah, it's really interesting to really focus on the downhill. It's something a lot of people don't do. Everyone focuses on uphill and climbing and maybe not putting that focus on the downhill. So that's a good tip.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people think too that downhill running, you're just going to gain some time, like you're going to run a bit faster, but the toll it has on your body is huge. So when you run fast downhill, like everything hurts so much more. Like, so it does affect then all your other aspects of running. So I think really being able to condition that, I think that's going to be a key difference to get to this finish line of UTMB.
So more downhill, is there any more mileage or change in nutrition?
So nutrition change, I went over to precision. Just playing around a bit with that. Then using they have a sodium loading protocol, so you have a sodium drink the night before and then the morning of.
Is that bicarb soda stuff?
No, it's just standard sodium. I haven't jumped into the bicarb yet. I've seen a few podcasts, but it's definitely something to look into.
Sounds like the most risky.
You either get sick or it works. So it's like,
It will take you a long time to get to how many grams is
Works for you.
Don't try it the night before. So I think that's helped a lot, like up to the amount of calories I can actually tolerate as well. That gut training and just playing around with what works. So I've been enjoying the precision and.
They're those big ones, those 90 grams.
They're 90 grams. A little screw top, just have a little bit, put it away. That with some of the caffeine ones. Sort of a good mix, plus the drink, the carb and electrolyte drink mix. And then I do quite like a ginger beer, so I reckon that helps if you're starting to feel a little bit nauseous.
During a race?
Yeah. I think the video they got of me was down in a bottle of Coke. Some of the other checkpoints, I had a little can of.
I always have the drop bags.
Oh, okay.
Later in the race.
Well, I'm always drunk at ginger beer. Like, I quite like ginger beer after the race.
Yeah, that's
right. Maybe that.
Game changer.
Yeah. Cool. Wow. Here we go.
Next year. All right, well then walk us through the day.
Hang on.
Sorry.
Were you tempted to do the miler?
Yes, very, very tempted. I had, big FOMO for that one. The reason I didn't do it is because UTMB. So the fatigue that hangs around after a mile is just massive. Like, I think it took me, I felt like it took a really long time to recover from Aussie. So I just thought, be sensible, like, you know, that UTMB is the goal. I'll do everything I can to get to the end of that race. So I think doing the mile here would have put that in jeopardy. It just wouldn't have been able to get back to training as soon as I could.
Not enough weeks.
Not enough weeks, that's right. But the course looks spectacular.
All right, so let's talk about the day.
I was just super excited. Like, just one of those, happy to be here. Really special moment on the start line. My good friend Anne-Marie and her partner Steve, we were just right up the front.
There's actually the footage of you all on the start line. Yeah.
I don't even know what we were talking about, but it was just like, you know, we're here, we get to run on these like awesome trails. You know, let's just go and have a good day. And then Uncle David did the Welcome to Country right in front of me. And I just felt so honoured that just all happened right there. So I was like, well, it's already a good day. Like, it doesn't really matter what else happens. So I guess my game plan was to, knew it was going to be a fast start. And I don't actually like running fast. I like the trail running for the hiking and snacks, but anyway. So I thought I'm going to try and run a bit further out Narrowneck, knowing when we go off the back towards Duncan's Pass that it was going to be a bit slow and muddy and slippery, so, you know, things to be able to settle down there. So I did that, and I caught up to Lucy and just got to chat with her for a bit. So yeah, we sort of finished Narrowneck and then did the scrambly bit down to Duncan's Pass together. So it's always quite an honour to be able to, you know, share a bit of trails with her. And
Was it muddy then?
It wasn't too muddy there. Sort of ones like Duncan's Pass was horrific. There was a few like foot slips where you thought, has someone like just gone? Yeah. No one knows they're out there. So that was sketchy. And then, there's a few sections between there and Medlow Gap that I just took a bit slow. There was quite a few people that actually went past me there because they're just a bit more comfortable running on that muddy, slippery terrain. I have a really fear of falling over. I just, took it relatively easy there. But then from there, it wasn't too bad until Iron Pot, but Iron Pot's always a bit of I hate going down that really steep bit.
But you trained out there, you kind of knew what you were in for?
No, because you can't really.
The only way you can train is into that.
But I've done it in previous years, so I know, again, like, I just take it easy.
That's a really warning spot for me, is like, 'cause every time I've done Iron Pot, at the end of it, I felt amazing, so I was really mindful that that's an area that you kind of just need to be patient around.
Yeah, it gets, it's pretty like special spot too. You just take your time. You've got the didgeridoos playing, and like, it's just sort of a nice feel out there.
So how competitive were you racing that at that point? Like, did you have a feel for who was in front, like what position you were in?
At that point, I didn't really know who was where. So when we took off at the start, I was on the start line and everyone just went, boom. So I was like, okay, I don't know where anyone is or what's going on. And then Lucy had said a few girls went with Beth. So I was like, okay, well, there's a few in front at least. And I was just really trying to just keep in touch with how I was feeling, my effort level, getting the nutrition in. My guts, there was a few times where I was a little bit like, queasy, so just backed off the nutrition a bit, try to maybe have a bit of water and just settle things down. And that was probably all around that like sort of Iron Pot area, along Valley. I didn't really know where I was placed, but I knew there was a few in front. And I always look forward to Nellie's because UTA 23, that's where I took the lead, so I sort of always just make sure I pace myself well so I can have a good strong climb up there. And then when you're getting into Katoomba, you're going to see your friends and family, and it's going to get pretty loud. So that really gives you some energy. So,
did you have like set times in mind that you were hoping to be at aquatic centre, and how were you tracking against those?
Did only to calculate my nutrition. Right. So I sort of went like, if I'm running like my dream race, like this is what nutrition I need. So that's sort of how I planned it out there. E009 actually had my goal race time, my dream time. So I'll have to look at her splits and figure out where I can, shave off a little bit more time for the next one.
But she was always ahead of you.
Yeah, I never saw her until the end.
So it wasn't that she just held back and ran this really relaxed race and took it over in the back half.
No, I think she just took the reins from the start. So, yeah, I'm real right.
Yeah. Did you see Beth at all?
No, I didn't, but I kept getting little snippets of, she's not that far ahead, you're catching, and I was just trying to dig in. So I didn't really start, I guess, racing as such until we got to the aquatic centre, and then they were like, okay,
What position were you in there?
You're in third.
Yeah.
So I'd overtaken the lady that was in third to put me in third, and I went in and out of the aquatic centre as quick as I could. So that's where that happened. And I knew she wasn't that far off me either, so I was like, I can't let up if I want to.
How were you feeling at that point?
Really good. Because I feel quite comfortable on all that section too. I'm like, I know, I enjoy the stairs. Like last year, we didn't get to go down Giant and up through Lura Forest, so I really missed that last year. Whereas this year, we're getting to do all of that bit, and so it was, good.
So cool. So you pulled out of Aquatic Centre in third, and the next one's Fairmont, and you still remained in third from then to the end, right?
Yeah, I just held on, trying to catch. It was good fun. I had the UTMB people were filming. So there was a guy running behind me. He actually came
all the live stream going.
Yeah, he came all the way down Giant Stairs, and I was like, "Are you walking back?" So that was good fun. And then when I got to came across Wentworth Falls, Little Switzerland Trail. The guy on the bike caught up with me there, and he was giving me some time splits. So I sort of knew, where I was, and I was like, it's a long shot to catch Beth, but
I was going to ask, what was more important, how far Beth was in front, or how far fourth place was behind you?
Oh, I think the fixation was trying to catch Beth. Yeah. But then just that little bit in the back of your mind of, if you push too hard and blow up completely, you're going to then lose a podium place.
So then from QBH to the end, you still felt solid and strong?
I felt really comfortable running that downhill. Yeah. When I look back, I went I don't think I ran all out, but I also knew I needed to save a little bit to make sure I could get back to the jump. But I felt comfortable running down there, so I took that as a real positive. The amount of 50Ks out there was incredible. They were just all over the place. I think there was more 50Ks this year than there has been previously.
Probably you also ran 12 milers as well.
There was a few milers that I came across. A lady who we know and train with through our coaching, Beth. I saw her out there, so it was great to give her a little bit of a cheer. And she's in her last, what she been the last 7 or 8 Ks of the miler, and she's smiling and stuff like that. And you're good on you. You put in the hard yards. Yeah, when I got to Federal Pass, there was just this massive line of people, and I was just sort of thinking, how am I going to get through all of this? But to everyone's credit, they were amazing. I just was yelling, excuse me, and then, they sort of yelled it out to the people in front. So, get out of the way! Yeah.
Friday coming.
I was trying to get back before I needed to pull out my head torch, but it was just a bit dark in the forest, and then the sun did set, so I didn't quite make it back before I needed the head torch. But
so what's that feeling at the top of Ferber, turning around, finishing? Was it a great feeling, seeing all the crowd running through the line?
It was, and it was so loud, it sounded like everyone was there. I definitely struggled, from the aquatic centre with calf cramps, and I'd never cramped before. So that was sort of interesting, just trying to navigate that. So definitely didn't feel like I was going up further as strong as I normally would. And I was conscious, like, when I got to that, boardwalk and where everyone's standing there, that I didn't want to, like, step wrong and just, crumple to the ground. But yeah, other than that, it's just, that's an unreal.
Did you have any strategy management, or was it just back off a little bit?
I just had to back off a bit, try to manage the salt intake, but I think it was probably just that, running that little bit harder.
Mm.
And all the mud as well. That would have
true.
been a drain on your calves as well, more than what you would have expected. From
Yeah.
normal training
I
and
didn't
races.
find the mud too bad, but I did make it back before it rained again, and then I heard it got really, really messy down.
Yeah, down in Lura Forest and that.
Yeah, heard some stories.
Oh, huge congrats.
So were there any things that you wanted to trial, I suppose, with a view to UTMB, that using this as a training run, that you're like, okay, I'm going to try this, whether it was like nutrition or something that you'd done in your build up to the race or actually in the race that was different from previous years?
It'd probably still just be that downhill running. I still have that as a focus for UTA. That was probably still my goal as well. Just keep getting strong with that downhill running. Trying to get your pack like as light and little as you can. And when in training, I've been training with a heavier pack, like just filling up, the bladder with more water than I know I needed. But the main reason for that is because my husband and I are going to fast pack UTMB course at the start of July, so we're going to have a pretty heavy pack for that. But I think a benefit of that was then when I had my lighter UTA pack on, I was able to run really quicker. So
It's like training in heavier shoes.
Yeah.
It's like wearing a waist vest.
Yeah.
You're fully wrecking the course. How fun. It's fast
Yes.
pack,
Yeah.
Just staying in huts and stuff.
Yeah, they've got these incredible looking refuge areas, food and showers and
Yeah, I think fast packing UTMB course would be like that. Yeah, that's something I want.
Yeah, that more appeals to me than that.
Yeah.
That's what I say. I think that's one of the things I'm looking forward to.
You see a lot more of the
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is giving me the inspiration to develop that fast pack so that I can take that over and try it out. Yeah, so.
Yeah, we won't have it ready for
I was
first.
going to
No,
say,
I'll get you tested out.
We're all keen for that, aren't we?
I know, I'm hustling myself.
take some notes for you.
Yeah. Oh, well, congratulations. And I guess so UTMB coming up, like, I guess the question I had on the UTA course was, in hindsight, was there anything you would have done differently, or you just kind of felt like you did what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I actually don't think I could have done anything or would have done anything differently. Like, it's probably the most excited I've been for a race, which was so nice. Like, there was quite a few years there where I kept getting injured, so I just wasn't able to race very often, and I had to miss a few UTAs. So when I was sort of considering whether I do UTA this year or not, and that sort of came to my mind of, like, a few years ago I would have given anything to be able to come to this race year after year, and not just that, but then be in the mix with all these, amazing fast women.
And you're one of them.
I don't know how I ended up here, but somehow here I am. So I think it just was like a real privilege to be there. So I think that was just the highlight for me. Was
Well, I'm super jealous. It's like that whole part of Chamonix in France and stuff is my favourite part of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so awesome that you're going over there to have another crack at it. So.
Yeah, gonna live and breathe those European mountains.
Yeah, they're different, aren't they? They're
Yeah.
just like, there's nothing around you that kind of, you just realise you travel a lot slower and the hills take a lot longer.
Yeah, that's a very good tip. I'm gonna remember that.
They're thousands of meters higher.
Yeah, that's it. Like, okay. I remember because I did a training run before I did it in 2023, and I got it so wrong, the training run, because I had time expectations of what 20 kilometers would be, and I ended up coming back and it was totally dark and like everything had gone wrong and it was just a disaster. But it was so lucky I learned that before I actually did the race, and then my expectations were all set for what I was in for. So anyway.
So we were there at the same year then.
Yeah,
I was there
okay.
2023.
23, yeah, right, yeah.
You made it to the end?
I did.
Well
I
done.
did. Yes. Like, I mean, never get back here again. I'm going to finish. I didn't care what the time was. It's like, I got to finish. So, yeah. So
I think that's the mentality you need with UTMB too, is like just whatever you need to do to get to the finish line. Like be prepared for that second night.
Yeah.
But yeah, just find a different place to dig deep into.
Yeah, and the ability to sort of the biggest learning I got out of it was knowing that you can go into quite a tough spot and come out of it and come out actually quite strong was quite like that was a revelation for me. Like, because I'd never done that before. Whenever I got in a tough spot, I just stayed there. But it came out and then started feeling amazing again. So that was really cool.
The stubbornness in you. I've come across the world. I've paid so much money. Got to finish
my
this.
last chance. Never do it. But now I'm
Get
starting
you
to think,
through.
how am I going to get back there again?
Well, you have to test out the fast pack.
Well, exactly.
Well, it sounds like you had such a good, relaxed mindset for the 100, so hopefully you can bring that to UTMB. And yeah, we all wish you luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Best of luck in it.
We'll be following you.
Yeah, we
Sure.
will. And thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks so much for inviting me and having me.
Brilliant.
Very
Thanks, man.
fun.